Yeah, it's good to see you again, man.
It's been a long 2 weeks.
Yeah, so. It has been. It's been way too long. So,
yeah.
Welcome, y'all. If anybody's listening out there, if you are, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you are listening, hey, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It can't hurt you. Only I can. Just kidding. I don't wish anybody any specific harm.
No.
I am a well-wisher in that I do not wish you any specific harm. Like Moses, lack off the Simpsons. Anyway, here we are in studio, Cody, Wyoming. We're going to start off with a tune, I guess, and then we'll be right back, okay? So stay tuned. Enjoy the music here. That's Tom McDonald with his song I Wish, and it's kind of becoming one of our favorites. So anyway, we're going to transition to that, and we will be right back. Enjoy.
I wish I wasn't fat.
I wish I wasn't gay.
I wish I wasn't black.
I wish that I was brave.
I wish with every candle on the cake that I could quit doing these drugs, but I can't and I'm afraid.
I wish that I was smart.
I wish that I was rich.
I wish it wasn't hard for me to grow up and forgive.
I wish that I could help.
I wish I wasn't sick.
I wish I was Tom McDonald. I'd be just like him.
I wish I wasn't sober. I miss it when the party wasn't over. Happiness was right around the corner. Every single night was like the best one of our lives. Now we're older. The good old days are out of reach. I wish that they were closer. I wish I wasn't anxious, and I wish I could fast forward. And I wish that I could rewind, but they don't make that controller. I wish the nights were longer, and I wish the days were shorter. And I wish that I could sleep enough to maintain my composure. I feel crazy. I wish that I was normal. I wish that I could kill myself, but also be immortal. Take me to the oracle. I heard that time is borrowed. Can you give me back my yesterdays? I'll give you my tomorrows. Forget all of my morals and just live like I cannot remember sorrow. Before all of the tattoos and the cornrows, I was different, I was happy, I was calmer, I was young and full of hormones. Now I'm wishing for a time machine, I'd step into that portal and be gone.
I wish on shooting stars, or were they satellites? Maybe they were too far. Hey, ooh la la, I must have blown apart a million dandelions. Now they don't grow in my yard. Hey, ooh la la.
I wish I didn't care about the day that I'd be buried. Used to live like I was ready for it, always in a hurry. Now I'm worried, all my memories are blurry. I'm just barely turning 30 and the voices in my head are trying to hurt me. The choices that I made make me feel dirty. I was 25 or 13, I was smoking with the seniors, drinking beer and getting flirty. Now the Ativan ain't working, I need something even stronger. Give me childhood, my mother and my father and my sister, and a Christmas to make up for all the recent ones I'm missing while I'm touring the country for a living. Give me a hug and a Nintendo and a toy box in the closet. Give me everything I wish I had. Oh wait, I think I got it. I'm a rapper like I always promised them I would accomplish. This is awesome, man. I wish I had a friend to tell. I'd call him, man. I wonder if I jump from here, if I'd survive the bottom, and would everyone believe me if I told them I had fallen? I'ma jump.
I wish on shooting stars, or were they satellites? Maybe they were too far.
All right. There we were with some Tom McDonald. Again, welcome back, Ricardo.
No
it's great
problem.
to have you here.
Oh my God.
Salute, my brother.
It's been so long.
To your health. And to mine.
Yeah.
And to everybody's, actually, at this point in time, to everybody's health. And may the cookie gnome, well, he can eat a bag of shit. Anyway. Hey, what's up? I wanted to give a shout out to K Pook because he can see that DDJ SB3 setup that I got right here. We got a new piece of equipment in the studio tonight, and I'm looking forward to having his ass out here from California so he can show me how to use that thing and spin some tunes for you guys because, as you guys know, Pook can do it. So I guess we'll jump right into it, man.
Sure.
How's things been going? Everything good?
Yeah, except it's been a lonely couple of weeks. Cause
no. I know, man. We haven't had anything going. Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of I've missed this, so it's good to be back anyway. I hope y'all feel that it's good for us to be back too.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you do or not. That's how I am. Whatever. I mean, of course, I really need your attention and your love and your, I need that affirmation that I'm okay. So hit the like button, subscribe. Come on now. We're getting up on there. When we get to, I think I said initially 50 subscribers that everybody was going to get a t-shirt. We're getting close. I think we're like 44. So
nice.
I do have the t-shirts designed, and they're getting ready to come out. We're going to do hats. And a few other things.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to sit down and figure out what else we want to do, but maybe hoodies. I don't know. We'll do a number of things.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Maybe some beer koozies, something like that, you know? Those always go over big. But I think hats, T-shirts, tank top, I don't know. Whatever. Postcards with our faces on it.
Oh my God.
Safe travels, bitches. Anyway, I was a little wound up this morning. I don't know if you read any of my posts, but I got pretty fired up this morning. Just at the state of things, and I've kind of got a better disposition right now, but I'm still not happy.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's funny because I had to drive my sons to school, and then I immediately checked my phone, and I was like, I just agreed with everything you said because it's like.
I mean, I kind of went off like I always do.
Yeah.
I have the gift of gab, I guess. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about things? Where we're at right now?
It's just fucking frustrating. It's like.
Right.
I mean, you just look at the government. There's no answers. There's just.
No, there aren't any answers, and then we're really lacking leadership. I think. Don't you agree?
Yes.
I mean, there's nobody out there that's really. And we don't necessarily, but you know, the thing, my point on the whole thing is that as citizens, we got to accept some responsibility too. And we have to take the reins at some point because, I mean, you look at representatives and senators, we got 535 of them, right? And there's 330 million of us.
Yeah.
And you've got schools now that are adjusting their menu plans for kids because we're going through shortages, right?
Yeah.
Texas is supposedly the worst. Wisconsin has already had to do so. And it's going to be happening everywhere before we know it. And we're going to be in trouble up here in Wyoming, I predict, because we're like at the end of the supply chain.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for any trucks to get in here, I mean, like they hit Denver and then come up, or they're coming out from like Seattle.
Yeah.
But with the ports, I don't know what's going on with the port in Seattle.
Yeah, no.
But from what I understand, you know, just outside of, you know, in the San Pedro, Long Beach area, there's like 90 cargo container ships just out there. Some are anchored, some are just milling about. I mean, those are huge diesel motors on those things. I mean, I don't even know how many gallons of fuel those things take on.
I have no idea, but it's like if they're just sitting there, it's like
right. And if they've got refrigerator cars or containers on there that have to be plugged in, then obviously you got to have the you know, those motors have to be running.
Yeah.
And every one that I ever saw was a dual prop, and those props were just huge. I mean, and then we're going through fuel shortages.
Yeah.
England ran out of fuel.
Yeah.
People could not fill up their cars in England. You know, what'd they say? Germany, natural gas.
Yeah. Sweden. Or?
Yeah. I mean, you know, and everybody wants to hop on this whole Green New Deal shit. And I mean, where do you think your electricity comes from?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, everybody thinks that because there's a plug-in on the side of the road, that all of a sudden it's great. Your electricity's coming from somewhere, you dumbasses.
Yeah.
I mean,
it can happen like that because this country wasn't built by.
Well, and we don't have,
power, so
we don't have the solar, and we don't have the wind, and we don't have hydro.
No.
I mean, we don't. It's just the infrastructure is not set up for that, and they're, you know, proposing this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. Where's this going? I mean, have you seen some of the places this money's going?
No.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's just like the first one where we were spending money on gender studies in Pakistan. I mean, part of that went to the Egyptian military. A bunch of it went to interballistic missiles for Israel. I mean, it was going to just, and then everybody got their $1,200 check, and they went, la 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 la.
Yeah.
And that leads to another thing.
Yeah, it's like people don't pay attention to anything. It's like,
well, and then now that we've had these stimulus checks, which haven't amounted to jack shit really in the scheme of things, but now people aren't wanting to go back to work.
Yeah,
they've taken time off of work, and people have. I mean, you got these people that talk great reset. Okay, I think there's also, we've got a great resignation. 4 million people have quit their jobs. They're just walking away. Because they had the time to step away from it, and it hurt at first for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you know, we get so caught up in this mentality of this 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which leads to the idea of having a bullshit job.
Yeah.
And I think so many people in this country have. I mean, when you work for a corporation.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a lot of your day is just spent just
9 to 5,
looking busy though, like acting busy, looking busy, giving the perception off that you're. I mean, in a 40-hour week, you could probably literally. I would bet that people working corporate jobs in office buildings in 15 hours could probably get their work done for a week.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think that there are I don't know if you could say they talk essential workers and non-essential workers. I don't know that you can necessarily. I obviously don't have the the credentials to decide which is which. You know, but I mean, like a guy that out there on a construction site or whatever. You know, and I know a lot of guys on construction sites do the same thing all day. Yeah. You ask them how they're doing it. I'm just trying to look busy. You know. Yeah. Especially the bigger companies because they don't keep an eye on And
it's like the job I used to have in Maryland. It's like, as long as we completed all of our work between March through May, then the rest of the year it's like just look busy, just do whatever you want.
And what does that do to your psyche?
Yeah,
for those other 9 months.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're going to a job just to look like you're doing something. Yeah, and say you got kids and family at home, or even if you've got something that you do for a hobby. Yeah. That that would be, replenishing your soul and making you happy, Yeah. I mean, that's why I've loved working for myself. I want to go snowboarding, I go snowboarding. Yeah. I want to go, whatever it is I want to do, I go do. Yep. I do what I want.
Exactly.
And I mean, you're going to have to serve somebody at some point.
Which is why I love my job at Walmart, which I know it's like Walmart, it's like, ugh. But I love the work that I have because I don't have to deal with anyone. It's like just liquor store and that's it.
Yeah. Well, but you get the real treats that come in the liquor store. You get to deal with the drunks and the weirdos. But I mean, I guess it'd be better.
Now that all the tourists are gone, it's like the number of those people is like,
At least you don't have to deal with like the uppity, the uppity mothers and things like that on the other side. Yeah. I've watched some Walmart employees be treated really badly by people, by customers, and it's like, don't treat these people like, I mean, I've also gotten some pretty bad service in there from people too. Yeah. But I try and usually if I start talking to somebody, then even if like I've always found in the electronics department, for instance, everything's locked up, which is crazy. Like a $15 pair of headphones has got a lot. So then you got to find somebody, and then sometimes they're cool. There's I wish I knew the kid's name. He's a youngster in there, but he's cool. So I don't know. But he's always been real helpful. But then there's been people that are just like, like, could you please? I mean, and they're like, they don't care if they. I mean, that's just more. I mean, they're not making more money. No. Because they're unlocking. I mean,
no, it doesn't matter.
You're putting them out, right? Like they're. I mean, there's like,
it's their job.
God. Right.
It's their job.
Right. But I mean, with the amount of money that I don't know what Walmart's paying now, but I do know that they have the largest percentage of employees that are on federal assistance, and they're one of the biggest, if not the biggest, retail marketer. I mean, they're the biggest in the country, I believe. Yeah. So the Waltons are sitting back making billions. Yeah. And they have. I mean, there should not be a single employee of that corporation on federal assistance. No. With the amount of money they make, that's greed right there, brother. Wouldn't you agree? Yep. That's greed. I mean, there should not be a single person working at Walmart that's unhappy. Yeah. And we watched that video earlier with that girl. And I don't know if you all saw it. She was in Louisiana. Yeah. And I mean, she got on the the intercom and quit. And
why don't you play the video?
Well, I would. I can't get it to go through.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm too stupid.
No, it's fine.
I'd like to play it, but I can't. But, yeah. But I mean, she just basically she called everybody out. She called one of the guys a pervert, and razzed him for the treatment of the older, the elderly people that work there. And I don't know how they're treated, but I can't imagine doing that job being a greeter.
No, oh my God.
All sitting there for an 8-hour shift.
Awful.
And welcome to Walmart. I mean,
yeah, no, it's awful.
Well, and especially when everybody was having to wear the masks, and then you're having to wipe down the handles and everything.
No, but now it's like they don't even have employees to do that. So it's
right. Yeah, and have you noticed like the shortages on the you said in the liquor store that you're having shortages, right? Yeah, because I know you said you had problems getting trucks in.
Yeah.
And that wasn't weather related or anything, was it?
Nope.
That was just a shipping deal.
Yeah.
Because we don't have truckers.
Yeah.
And we have fuel shortages. And
Yeah.
we've got cargo containers. I mean, just the ones I was talking about in Long Beach, that's just part of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the ports on the East Coast, and you still have
Yeah.
ports. You have ports up in Oakland and San Francisco.
Yeah.
You
Plus
have ports
Canada,
up in
Mexico.
and you have Tacoma. Tacoma's got a lot of they've got a big port up there, and I would imagine it's much the same.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just really it's frustrating as hell, and you know it's like, what are they going to do? I mean, we're running out of space on these docks. And so the containers aren't going back to China, for one thing.
No.
And then you've got the problem with China. You've got 2/3 of the country of China is down.
Yeah.
They ran out of coal. All those factories run on coal.
Yeah.
That's electricity, people.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? I mean,
I have no idea. It's like they're trying to figure it out.
And 90% of our pharmaceuticals come from China.
Yeah.
So you're talking ibuprofen, acetaminophen, you know, any of these over-the-counter medications, and then there's a lot of prescriptions that are coming from there as well. And so now they're either out there circling around or anchored off, you know, outside of Los Angeles or wherever they're at, and you know, the stuff is not getting on the shelves. You know, inflation is going through the roof.
Oh yeah.
And it's only going to get worse when they pass this next bill, because we just keep making up this money.
Yeah, and we can't keep doing that because it's like
we've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
Though. That's the way we create debt, and that creates money.
Yeah.
You know, and I was trying
except that it's not okay to create so much debt like that, like Biden and Trump did. It's like,
yeah,
you just gotta watch it because
yeah, and you know, and then you know, you take people away from their job,
yeah,
and you get them out of the. I mean, really, because people are herd animals. I mean, like it or not, most people are doing what they do because that's what they're supposed to do. We've been ingrained with this mentality that we've got to work just for work's sake. It doesn't matter, you know. I mean, like myself, I work.
Yeah.
But I build things like the table we're sitting at, like the table back there, like everything in here. I build things. I make things with my own hands, and that's rewarding. A lot of people, I think, at the end of the day, they don't have anything that's rewarding from what they've done.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that, like what we were talking about with your job.
Yeah.
If you spend 9 months of the year looking busy, what's that do to you mentally?
No, it's like,
because you know you're just putting on a facade.
Except that the bosses, they keep busy, but it's like everyone else is like,
right?
They're just looking at themselves like,
yeah,
what do we do?
And that's got to be kind of denigrating over time.
Yeah. Because
you're sitting there going, why am I even here?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're going, God, I've got a short life to live.
Yeah.
We really do. We don't have a long. You know that more than anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's why your attitude is the way it is, because you went through an experience that made you understand that. And
God. And I'm so grateful I went through that, and I'm still here, because otherwise I'd still be sitting in Maryland and just like.
In those 10 years it took off your life, it gave you another 40
yeah.
probably. You know, of real life.
Yeah.
Like an understanding and knowing that, like, there's more.
Oh yeah.
And I think that that's what's happened with the whole thing with COVID, with, you know, the people getting, you know, sent home from work and, you know, spending time at home. I imagine a lot of people got to know their kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably did. They like, oh, wow.
And now they're like, wait, do I have to go back to that job? It's like, no.
Yeah, and then thinking, why?
Yeah.
You know, so there's that, the one side of it is, okay, the government has issued all this money to people, but it hasn't been that much money.
No.
It has not been that much money. It's been enough for people to subsist, but people are realizing that, hey, I can subsist with less.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need all this shit. And I've been busting my ass for all these years for this
working
shit.
To make all this crap, and it's
for
like,
shit. And I've got, like now I've got to know my family. You know, I imagine there's, you know, married couples who got to know their spouse.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, you think about it, when you spend 40, the average work week is 40 hours, and I'd be willing to guess that there's a large percentage of people that put in more.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a lot of time. I mean, and for what?
Yeah.
And if you're just looking busy,
yeah,
what's it doing?
God.
we create these jobs.
Yeah.
Like they come up with we're creating jobs to do what?
Yeah.
Like be on poop patrol in San Francisco?
Yeah.
To pick up poop from the homeless? We ought to be getting rid of the homeless situation.
No, and it's
You know,
like,
instead of allocating all this money to Pakistani gender studies,
yeah.
how about get the people off the streets in Frisco and LA?
But the company I used to work for is like they used to pay like between $75,000 and $80,000 a year for someone to look busy for like 4 months. I mean, to look busy for 8 months and then work 4 months of the year.
Yep. And did you guys have cubicles?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Except that if you were one of the bosses, then you had an office.
You get a
but
corner office.
Yeah.
So you had an office.
Yeah.
Can you imagine working in a cubicle?
No.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? I'm sorry for anybody out there that works in a cubicle. I honestly am. I cannot imagine. I always think of Office Space.
Yeah.
That movie, you know.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there and he can hear that lady across the.
Yeah.
And she's
it's
like, "Corporate accounts payable. This is Nina speaking. How may I help you? Just a moment." And then walking by, go, "Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays." And dude's over there just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, that one scene where he brings them the printer, the copier, and
Yeah.
they take it out in that field and beat the shit out of it. Those guys just take out all their angst on it.
Yeah.
Then they
no.
lose their jobs anyways. And the guy that says "fuck it all" just acts like he there's that one scene where he takes his cubicle wall and he just pushes it over,
Yeah.
and he's sitting there looking out the window, just like.
Yeah.
I love that scene, and that lumber goes.
but-
Okay, go ahead and get maintenance up here to
But
take care of this.
it's like funny that now I appreciate the job that I have, and thank God I work in the liquor store because otherwise I'd fucking go crazy working in Walmart. It's like,
Yeah, that probably is the best
Yeah.
gig out there.
yeah,
I mean, I know I always go in there late because I hate going
Yeah.
in there, so I always go in there late just because there's less people.
yeah,
But then I always run into the dudes that are doing the stocking,
yeah,
and I always try to be nice to them dudes, and
Yeah.
and I've got, I try to be nice to everybody in there, But there's a couple of them that hey, what's up, and you can actually get them to smile. 'Cause
Yeah.
most of them won't smile.
Yeah.
They just look miserable. And I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, spending your whole night, you're just taking a
8
pallet,
hours every day.
a
It's
pallet
like,
jack, and
Yeah.
you're fucking stocking Campbell's soup and wheat
No.
thins. And then having a supervisor yell at you, "Hey, you dumb shit! The
Yeah.
fucking wheat thins go over here."
Yeah.
And you're just denigrated and just going, "God damn, what am I doing with my life?
Exactly.
Like, what am I doing?" I mean, I've basically been. I mean, I've worked some office jobs. I mean, I worked in a dental office. I worked in a bank. Which, if you can believe it,
Yeah, I can.
I'm banker material right here.
I worked in a bank too, so
Yeah.
I get that. So.
I had to wear long sleeves every day.
Yep. Me too.
And they put me in the drive up. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere else. They're like, "You're going to be back here, dude."
Oh my God.
Which I liked. I loved it. I just
Yeah.
I mean, really, honestly, I just sat back there and drank all day. I mean, sorry. I mean, what are you going to do? Fire me? I already quit.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a terrible job too, man. I mean, it was just like the cars would come through. It was just everyone, "Hi, how are you doing today?" And then the dude I worked with, he had the same line for
Oh my
everybody,
God.
and "How are you today?" And they'd say, "Oh, I'm fine. How are you?" He'd go, "What? Just another day in paradise."
Oh my God.
And you'd hear that all day. And then, he'd well, how would you like your cash back? And they'd say, whatever's easiest. And he'd go, "How about a sack of nickels?"
Oh my
I mean,
God.
it was all day, man. Just all day. Just listening to that shit. And I'll just sit over there and just shake my head and just.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I swear to God, I'd take my lunch break and I'd go to the bar and have a martini.
Yeah.
Go back in there and just go.
I don't blame you. It's like, fuck, do
And
I
it was
have to sit
no
here?
money.
Yeah.
I was making like $8.75 an hour, and here's $1 million in that vault that I've got access
Yeah.
to, and I'm making $8.75. It's to sit
Yeah.
there and listen to "Another Day in Paradise" and "How about a sack of nickels?" I mean, hundreds of times a
Oh
day.
my God.
And rude people and shit, and oh
Yeah.
my God. And then we had you'd have the people. This is one that I always got a kick out of, and I don't know if you ever, the ladies that would come through, and you could tell when they were splitting up with their husbands.
Yeah.
Because they'd come through and they'd give you a check or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it would be within cents of what's left in the account.
Yeah.
And you'd know right away, okay, she's splitting on her.
Yeah.
So I would always look up the card that they set up the account.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference if it says her name and your name.
Yeah.
that means that his signature and her signature has to be on it has to be duly signed to get money out. If it says or then you got, and so I don't know how many times I was like, sorry, I need your husband's signature on this.
Yeah.
And they would start cussing and screaming and yelling, and I'm like, look, the signature card on the account, I've got it right here.
Yeah.
It says and. That means both signatures.
Yeah.
You know? And you know that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know.
No,
for whatever reason, I mean, if we're talking about the female that's being, in an abusive situation or whatever, then maybe she should get the money and run. But I mean, a lot of times, it was, I don't know. Anyway, that was always one that I hated dealing with. And then they'd come inside and they'd ask for and then they'd ask for a manager, and then the manager would come back to me and be like, "Why?" And I was like, "Look at the signature card. This is the law." It's like, that's what it says. It's like, that's the way it was filled out. I was like, if I give her that money, then I'm in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
And people don't understand that.
And then the manager is like, wait, he has a point, but it's like.
Yeah, but the manager's been back in his office reading the paper, holding up the paper and sleeping behind it. We had one like that. He'd sit there and he'd put the paper, I don't know how he did it, but he'd get that paper, that newspaper up in front of him. And he was a senior officer, and he was a cool dude. He was a cool guy. Like, we'd go out to happy hour after work and stuff, but he would sit there and just sleep. And you'd go in there, and I won't say his name, obviously, but he'd go there, hey, and he'd rustle the paper. He'd rustle the paper. He was so used to he'd rustle the paper like he was actually reading it, Oh, hey, he'd be like, hey, are you sleeping again? He'd be like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. He knew I knew.
Yeah.
And most of those people, and that job too, those people that worked in there, all the officers and stuff in the bank, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
All day. To get dressed up.
Yeah.
Get your and then sit in your office and have, some 2-3 clients in a day.
It's just funny because now at all the banks in Cody, it's like they close the lobby. So it's like, they just go and show up and it's like all drive-through. So it's like, what's the point of even having them there? It's like.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, it's funny. When I because I painted the whole the Wells Fargo here, right? So I think I pulled 17 nights in a row on that thing to get it done. It was a tough job. I mean, because we're talking 6 at night to 6 in the morning. Yeah. And I was running the crew for my friend. That was the first time I'd taken on a job that wasn't mine.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got compensated for it well, but I mean, it was funny because I got pissed at my bank and I took all the money that I had out of there. So when I got paid for doing that job, of course, it was drawn on Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
And I went in there with that check, just wanting to and then first of all, they charged me the $7 and whatever it is, $7.95, which I don't give a shit. I mean, and then they just give me hell. What would you like to open an account? I said, not here.
No.
And they're like, can I have your fingerprint? And I said, you can find my fingerprint anywhere in this bank. And he's like, huh? I said, well, when you would get off work and leave here, I was the one in here painting it. I said, so my fingerprints are everywhere in here. So if you want it again, here, give me my money and take your $7.95 and no, I'm not starting an account here.
Yeah.
I mean, but banks are bullshit, man.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, I was talking to somebody about this earlier today. Say you want to borrow $100 and I'm the bank, right? Okay. So I have you fill out all the paperwork. Yeah. Right? I get all your information. So now I've got all your stuff in my database, right? So who knows what I'm going to do with that? And, okay, Mr. Torres, you qualify for this $100, but you're going to be at a 20% interest rate to pay this back, right? And I ask you what financial institution that you're with. And so then I get on my computer and there goes $100 into your account.
Yeah.
Where'd the money come from? I just created $100 plus the 20% interest based on your payments, right?
Yeah.
So not only did I not do anything, send $100. All I did was transfer a number to another institution that transferred it to you.
Yeah.
But now you get to go out and work and pay that back with the interest on it.
Yeah.
And so that's how money's generated. And people don't understand that. That is the way that money is generated in this country. They think that they're printing off. Do you really think they printed off $1.9 trillion on this last thing?
No.
Or 6 or whatever it was on the first one? Think about that. How many bills?
Oh, yeah.
Trillions?
No, it's crazy.
You know how long it would take to print off 1 trillion bills?
Yeah, no.
How long would that take? $1
fucking
trillion.
insane.
I mean,
No.
even if you're just spitting hundreds through.
Yeah.
I mean, you do the math on that. I mean, that's going to take, I mean, good God. And the thing is the money is worth less than the fucking paper.
Yeah.
And it's going to be because it's not going to be worth anything. And we're headed for problems. And I think, like I've seen this from a lot of financial gurus, and I've been making this analogy for well over a year now, that we are basically like the people in the wet sand in Indonesia when that tsunami hit and the water receded and you were standing in the wet sand wondering where the water went, and boom.
Boom. Yeah.
Right on your head. And these, a lot of the financial gurus and people I've been listening to, I mean, they're saying that it's coming like quick.
Yeah.
And I've been telling people this for a long time, but nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to, everybody wants to just like live in this happy fantasy land.
No.
And just be like complacent. And, that mushhead the other night, what did he say? He was talking about this new stimulus pen. He's like, oh, it's not about being complacent. It's about being competitive. Being competitive, I mean, how is just making up fake money being competitive? I mean, when you're just making something up because you have the authority. I mean,
no.
And that's the thing is the Fed is the one that gets to do that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they just make up whatever shit they want.
He was thinking about maybe printing a $1 trillion coin. It's like, what the fuck? It's like,
huh?
Yeah, exactly. That was my face when I looked at it. I was like, what?
Oh, I know, man. And if you're wise, I mean, get into crypto.
Yeah.
I mean, and the funny thing is, the Fed's talking about going into crypto now.
Yeah.
They're going to call it like a Fed note or something like that. Fed coin or some shit like that.
Oh my God.
I mean, and nobody understands that the Federal Reserve is not even part of the federal government.
Yeah.
Like it's a
yeah.
private bank, and it runs the fucking world.
Yeah.
As of right now. Now that could be changing. I mean, people have lost confidence. I mean, we've left people, in enemy territory. We've left our allies in enemy territory. We've watched people fall off of military jets to their death because they want to get out of there so badly.
Yeah.
We've seen, a folk singer get murdered. People are hanging in the street in Afghanistan. And I can only imagine where the service people's minds must be. The people that served there and watched that, had people die, or the men and women over there that lost limbs, lost eyes, lost arms, lost, and not only that, but came back with the PTSD to follow them around for the rest of their life. And I can't even imagine what an insult this whole thing has been to those people.
I'm still pissed about Afghanistan. It's like,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
And then this mushhead just keeps trying, anything he can do to and we've got a vice president that is harder to find than where's Waldo.
Yeah.
Like, where's Kamala? Like, she said she went to the border, but she didn't go. She didn't go to Del Rio.
Yeah.
She didn't go to the bridge where all these people, and there's more refugees coming.
Yeah.
There's more coming. What do we? I mean, and these people. I mean, it's a humanitarian crisis, and I shouldn't say these people because they're people just like you and I, obviously.
Yeah.
And they deserve to be treated humanely. But the reason they're coming here is because Onion Head was just like, open borders. Come on.
No.
Come look at my hairy legs in the swimming pool, I mean.
It's like, it's not open borders. It's like, we don't even have enough money to keep all the people happy in the border.
I mean, yeah.
How is that open borders? It's like.
Well, I mean, and then you've got all these jobs available, too, that nobody wants to take. But because everybody, I mean, I wouldn't even call it the Great Resignation. I'm saying it's the Great Awakening. I think people are waking up to the idea that, hey, maybe what I've tried to do my entire life has been for naught. Maybe I've been brainwashed.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you look at, I mean, you watch like a busy day in a big city in China, and you watch the way that those folks go about their business. I mean, even in New York City, you watch people going down the sidewalk. I mean, you don't notice anybody going past you. You don't look at anybody. You don't speak to anybody. You get on the subway. You don't look at anybody. You don't speak to anybody. You just go. You just keep your eyes down, and you go to your shitty cheese job, and you punch in, and you do your shitty cheese job all day. You go ahead, at the okay. It's 10 o'clock. It's coffee break. I mean, when I had guys working for me, I always told them, I said, look, we're big boys.
Yeah.
Okay? You need to take a cigarette break or whatever. Take
it.
the damn break.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't do 10 o'clock break. It's like, if you need a break, take a fucking break. I said, I'm going to treat you guys like men. You know?
Yeah.
If you need a break, take a break. I'm not going to bark at you.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can't sit out there and smoke cigarettes all day either.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you got to produce something. But, you know? And I mean, as the owner of my company, I mean, a lot of times I just keep working through lunch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like I wouldn't look at the time because I'm like,
No.
I'm trying to, you know, guys would come and they'd like be standing there all like little kids, like asking for a cookie. You know, they're all kind of like they got to pee their pants
Can
a
I
little
go
bit. They're
lunch?
kind of like rocking and
Yeah.
stuff. And they're like, hey, you think we can take lunch? It's like 2 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, you could have taken lunch whenever.
Exactly.
You don't have to take lunch at noon either.
Yeah.
That's what's so stupid. We're so set in these routines. Like, oh, it's noon. I got to just drop what I'm doing. Or fuck that. You take lunch when you want.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if you. I mean, I don't care.
No,
It's
and
just like
that's the way I operated in Maryland. Because it's like, if I had a big job, I couldn't take my lunch break until like 5 or 6 p.m. Whenever
Yeah.
I had a break,
Right.
a real break. It's
yeah,
like,
that's
then-
when you do it.
Yeah.
And then you're probably taking your work home. That's like what I did too.
Yeah.
I'd get back home and I'd sit in
No,
my
I-
office doing this.
I'd stay there until 3 a.m. and then I'd go home and
Yeah.
sleep for a couple hours and
And
then
then
be
back
back
at
there
it.
the next morning. Yeah.
And you're on salary at that point too.
Yeah.
So your hours don't even matter.
No.
Your time is inconsequential
Yeah.
to them. You just got to get it done.
Yep.
I mean, you know, that's why I would never take a salary job. I mean, like I
But
said,
I mean, it was nice because I did get paid a lot more. Than,
sure, but you know, I mean, think of all the family time
Yeah.
that you missed and,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
other things in life. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you're selling your life away for
Yeah.
this,
Yep.
and that's.
And I'm so grateful.
I mean,
I'm
there's
out
got to
of
be a balance there,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, obviously we all need, we all need money, I guess. I mean, to me, it seems like a barter system is almost better than anything. But when we're looking at these shortages, and we're not going to have. I mean,
Yeah.
when the stores are empty, people. whew. I mean, it's coming,
Yeah.
and it's already happening in places. And you know, and then they're talking about these, you know, the tax hikes that are going to be coming to everybody.
What? It's like,
I mean, they're going to raise the corporate taxes 28%, which I mean, whatever.
yeah, it doesn't affect.
But all
us.
that does is all that does
Yeah,
is,
it
is all that
trickles
does is
down.
make them outsource more jobs.
Yeah.
And you know, then you're talking about the shitty, you know, factory jobs. And those are the jobs that typically, I mean, a lot of times those are jobs that are filled by immigrants.
Yeah.
The jobs that people that live here
They
don't want
want
to do.
take. Yeah.
And they don't pay the greatest, and they're tough, you know, just, you know, tons of hours and, you know, not a lot of money, but,
Yeah.
you know, then those go away. And then, you know, I mean, we've got people that, I mean, the sad thing is, and you know, like my son asked me a while back, he said, Dad, you know, he comes out and goes, how do I avoid UBI? Because I don't want UBI. He goes, what are we going to do about automation?
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I just said, well, you know what? Come out here and learn how to use these tools.
Yeah.
Learn how to work with your hands. Be indispensable.
Yeah.
Be the person that can fix anything for somebody, because the robots aren't going to be able to do it all, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's my mentality on anything. I mean, that's why I get things like this. I don't know how to use this thing. But I tell you what, I'm going to learn how.
Yeah,
and you all are going to
exactly.
see me learn how to use that.
Yeah.
I will learn how to use it. I didn't know how to use this stuff and all this
Yeah.
shit. I didn't, but I mean, I kind of can now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great. Sometimes the thing turns out really screwed up.
It doesn't matter.
No, but that's the
Yeah.
thing. And that's the thing in life, too. And I told him that, too. I said, you can't be afraid to fail.
Hey, I mean, the first podcast that we recorded, it was a fucking mess.
Oh, yeah, it was. And how many times have you come over here and I'm sitting here and I
Yeah.
had everything set up and then all of a sudden everything
It's
just
like the screen
crashes.
didn't turn on. It's like, oh.
Oh, that's what I thought,
Yeah.
too. I thought, oh, my God, we did it again.
Yeah.
Luckily, it came right back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was like, oh, no, not again. I don't know how many times I've had it all dialed in for you
Yeah.
to get here and I'm ready to go. And then all of a sudden the camera goes, "Cuckoo," and it's all, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, not again. Oh,
Yeah.
my, you know, trying to fix it, trying to whatever.
But we've learned, and
Sure, and you know,
Yeah.
and that's part of it. You have to be willing in life. You've got to be willing and okay with
Yeah.
falling on your face. You have to be willing to embarrass yourself.
yeah.
You do. I mean, if you don't, then you're not really living.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to embarrass yourself. Because anything new that you do. I mean, and people, here's my thing. It's like, whatever you want to do, go for it. I never in a million years, and I don't even know if anybody's listening to this right now, but you know what? I'm having a good time doing it with you, and it's rewarding.
Oh my God, it's been like 2 weeks of just staying at home locked in, and it's like.
Well, and I've been sitting here going, God, I wish Ricardo was coming over here. You know? I mean, honestly, man. I mean, I've missed having you here, and I've missed doing this.
Yeah.
And I really don't give a rat's ass if anybody listens to it or not.
No.
They will or they won't.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is I'm candid about that, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And if you appreciate it, then you do, and awesome.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then, hey, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Walk on.
Yep.
I mean, and that comes to the whole thing. You know, people have gotten their choices ripped out from under them in the last 20 months. I guess that's about how long this thing's gone on. We're looking at.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's even been longer than that, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, March 13th, 2020, I think was when the schools shut down, and then. Yeah. So, I mean, we're 20 months of this crap, and. I mean, people have having their freedom stolen from them. They've had their liberties taken, and we've come up with this woke cancel culture that's just don't be woke, be awake.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God,
be awake.
Yeah,
I'm woke. What? You can't speak English, motherfucker. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
What the fuck is woke? I'm woke. That's not how the English language works. Hey, Mike, it's time to get up. Get your ass out of bed. Okay. I'm awake. I mean, I'm woke. No, I mean, I'm awake.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm awake, right? Be awake. Be awake.
Yeah.
Not woke. What is that? You sit there in this critical race theory bullshit that they're fucking teaching. This is garbage. It's garbage.
Yeah.
You treat people the
with
same
respect. Yeah.
You treat people. You treat people are people. You know. You got to get past the. And I don't know how this. And I talk to my friends about this shit. You know, and it's like, listen, this whole thing about race, it does not ever stop until we just call one another by our names. By our names.
Yep.
I'm not like, oh, this is my friend from Mexico. You know.
Yeah.
Ricardo. I'm like, no, this is Ricardo.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, this is my white friend. I mean, dude, it's like, but no. I see that happen, and I hear that happen in my life so often. I'm always the white guy, and it's like, why don't you just, my name's Mike.
Yep.
I mean, I remember the first night I was in Seattle, I got lost. I ended up in a bar that I shouldn't have been into, and I was the only person of my skin color in the place. I didn't know where I was at.
Yeah.
I started playing pool with these gentlemen. And I used to be a pretty good pool shot. I haven't played in a long time, but at first I was looked at as like, everybody's like, what the fuck is this guy even doing? I walked in and I looked around and I went, oh, what?
Yeah.
But at that point, it's like, fuck it, I'll sit down at the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, the bartender comes up and she's like, what would you like? I said, how about a shot of Jack and a bottle of Bud? No big deal. And I go over and I just put my quarters on the pool table. It's like, might as well get to know some people. Because I didn't know, I'd moved there, but I didn't know where I was. I didn't know where I lived. I didn't know. And my buddy, he was at a job, and so I couldn't get in touch with him. So I just pulled off, and I ended up in a neighborhood that a guy like me with a vehicle with a Wyoming plate probably shouldn't have been. But you know what? I mean, I was making shots, and this guy, I remember his name was Charlie. He kept saying, nice shot, my N-word. And he kept saying that to me, and finally I stopped. I said, Charlie. I said, my name's Mike. I was like, man, if you're saying that to me as a term of endearment or saying I'm a friend, I said, that's okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I said, but just know that that's a term that I would never say to you.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, you could say whatever you want, man, but my name's Mike. And I said, I would rather you address me like, I said, I don't care, whatever you want to say that's fine. I was like, but I don't necessarily want to be, referred to as something that I would never in my life say to you.
Exactly.
And he's like, I never even thought about it like that. And I was like, okay, man. I was like, whatever. I was like, and I'm not here to say that, you always hear that, these people could say this to themselves. And this is like, that's just something I would never say.
Yeah.
Period. I don't care what, but, But I made friends there, and I could always go back in that
Yeah.
bar too. I could go back in there whenever I wanted to after that, you know. And I did. I
Yeah.
did. I would go, if I was in that neighborhood, I'd go in there, and I had, you know,
No,
people
let-
were like, "Hey, what's up, Mike?" You know, and it's like,
Let-
and I never looked at anybody like
Yeah.
like they're anything different than me.
Yeah, no,
Like,
they're not.
Nobody. It's like I don't give a fuck. I don't care where you're from. What?
Yeah.
None of it. It doesn't matter.
No, it's like I had this lady tonight come into a liquor store, and she was from Wyoming. I don't know, but she,
I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, she
She's
tried-
from Wyoming, and we're in Wyoming. And
Yeah, she tried to buy wine, and I mean, she was
Oh, yeah.
like 65 or
Oh,
whatever.
was she a wine snob?
But her wine wasn't there
Oh.
because we didn't have it supplied, and she came to me complaining, and she's like, "You don't have my wine. You always have it. You don't have it now." And I'm like, "Sorry, ma'am, we didn't get it this week. We have plenty of other wines, the same kind.
Did she want
but it's
Carlos
different
Rossi?
brands." No.
The
We have
Carlos,
plenty of
the
that.
Carlos
Oh my
Rossi
God.
with the pinky handle on it,
Yeah.
the jug. That's some
So-
good shit.
so
That's what are the sangria.
So I finally convinced her to go get another wine, and she's still complaining and everything.
What do you
And then after her, I get this
like?
younger
You have
lady.
anything to do with it?
Yeah.
Like it's your
no,
fault.
but it's my fault.
Yeah, you
because-
had something to
yeah,
do with the fact that
exactly.
her wine's not like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the one that goes and picks it up and you bring
Yeah.
it there and you put it on the shelf and you sell it to her every week. And it was
Yeah. And then I have this other lady who came up and she's like, "Man, she's a bitch." And I'm like, "I know, man, but I'm not gonna say that." And I was like, "Where are you from?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm from LA." And she's like, "I'm planning on driving there today." So I was
oh
like,
jeez.
"Yeah,
And she's going to the liquor store
yeah."
before she gets on the road.
She bought 3 bottles of wine. She's like,
Yeah,
I
that
just
might
need
get her
this. I just need this for the drive. And I'm like, well, just a piece of advice: don't drink it while you're in Utah. But then after you get out of there, you hit
She said she was just buying it for the drive.
yeah.
Why would you say that?
Oh no.
I mean, there's places where you'd say that and somebody might just call the police. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I would never do that.
No.
I mean,
No.
I don't know.
You
I
know,
mean,
I'm more than friendly, so I'm like,
yeah.
you know
but
what?
It's funny she said that. Though.
You can drink it while you're in Wyoming, but just do not drink while you're in Utah unless you want to get in trouble.
Well, yeah, you keep it between the lines.
Yeah.
That's the main thing is people get all goon and you know. next
But
thing you know-
anyways, yeah, this lady heard
That's
the
hilarious.
whole conversation with the older lady, and she's like, "Man, she's a bitch." I was like,
That's
"Yes,
all
she
right.
is."
and that's funny. You've got somebody from LA that's saying that, and
Yeah,
but people, you know, I don't know. People from the city and stuff, I think
yeah,
they understand how
yeah,
things work.
exactly.
People from here don't understand.
Yeah,
They don't understand how things work. You know.
yeah,
I mean, like this was years back. Flying in, it's the typical. It's a typical Labor Day snowstorm, right?
yeah,
And so we're coming in. I got a family from Chicago around me, Tourons, whatever, you know. And I'm sitting there and I'm just drinking my drink.
yeah,
And we're coming in, and it's bad weather. It's a turbulent flight. I'm like, God, we might not, you know. And the little kids are like, hey, this is really, you know. And the mom's like, don't worry, Timmy. They have radar. We'll land. They have radar, you know. And I look at her, and I mean, I had just, I was like, I'm sitting there with my Jack and Coke, and I look at her, and I go, actually, no, there is no radar here.
yeah,
And the lady's like, what? And I was like, it's line of sight, lady. I was
Yeah.
like, so when we start going down to descend, I said, if it's still
Yeah.
snowing this bad on the ground, I said, if
yeah,
we
the
get close to
pilot
that
can't
runway,
see.
I
Yeah.
said, we might see the lights of the runway.
Yeah.
I said, but if this plane will shoot straight back up,
yeah,
and we'll circle a couple of times. And I said, but
If
if
he
it's bad,
cannot
we're
get
going to go
clear,
back to
yeah.
Denver. And we did. We went back to Denver. And, you know, and the flight attendant comes by, and I'm like, another one, you know?
yeah,
And we land, and we refuel,
yeah,
and we try it again. And same thing, you know. And by then, I mean, after the up and back, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 4 or 5 Jack and Cokes in,
yeah.
and these people just start screaming at the flight attendants.
Why? It's not even
They're
her fault.
screaming at them. And we have to deplane, and we have to go to customer service,
Yeah.
and we have to get rebooked because
Yeah.
obviously it's unsafe to land here.
Exactly.
So the pilot just saved all of our lives
Yeah.
by not
Landing
in a place where we could have probably. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, these guys are trained. That's their job.
Yeah.
If it's on, this is one of the 5 worst airports to land
Yeah.
in the country, and so I always am thankful if they decide that, hey,
Yeah.
this isn't worth it. It's like, thank you.
Yeah.
And so I get off the plane and I tell everybody thank you while everybody else is yelling. and the captain and the co-captain, they're up front, and they're, and everybody's yelling, and I looked at them both. I said, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And so I get off and I go up to the, and of course everybody's just a bull rush to the fucking customer service, and they're in the turnstiles, and they're yelling at these poor ladies that are up there from United, and they didn't have anything to do with it. And I'm just standing back behind the turnstile. I'm not even getting involved in the mess because why am I going to do that? And this lady that works for United comes up behind me. She goes, "Excuse me, sir." And I turn around. I said, "Oh, hey, hi, how are you?" She goes, "Sir, would you like to come with me?"
Yeah.
I said, "I suppose I would." And she takes me to, one of the gates that it was late at night. There was no flights going. I mean, she takes me to one. She logs on the computer. She goes, "Listen," she goes, "I have one available seat for tomorrow morning's flight to Cody."
Yeah.
And she goes, "All these people are not going to get on there." And she goes, "And I'm going to give you a voucher for a hotel for tonight."
Yeah.
She goes, "Would you like that?" I said, "I would love that, ma'am. Thank you very much."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Thank you for not being an asshole." And I went walking out of there, and all these people are still in the turnstiles, just yelling and screaming and and it's like, it's not.
You don't gain anything by being that way.
Well, and why yell at somebody who is an employee
it's not
somewhere?
their fault.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have something on the shelf, I mean, I go into the main store at Walmart. You don't have paper towel. I'm going to just start screaming at an employee, a guy that's walking around like pushing a broom, or like just he's having a bad enough day as it is without me. "Hey, say you son of a bitch, where's my brawny?" I mean, fuck. People are so fucking stupid and inconsiderate and rude.
I agree.
I mean, and you work. I mean, I got customer service shit. I mean, I used to tell guys, when I worked up at, on ski hills and stuff, I would always tell, wherever it was, I'd always get a supervisor job within a couple of months, just because of my mentality, I guess, and the way I carry. I don't know why. But I was telling people that I was working with, I was like, look, you have to understand that 98% of the general population are fucking morons that cannot read. And they can't. They won't read side in front of them. And up on a ski hill, I mean, you have a lot of people up there that don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I was like, you have got to be vocal with these people. You have got to verbalize everything. You have to speak clearly. And you have to show them what it's like. They are not going to understand. Yeah. And they're not going to read anything. You have to be able to connect with them and explain to them exactly at the base level what they need to do. I would do that all day. I'd have that lift coming down to land on my landing, and I'd have to. Yeah. I'd say, the lift's coming. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Right here. I was like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to wait for the yellow line. There's an arrow on each side of the yellow line. Each person's going to step off to each side. You're going to wait for that chair to go by, and then I'm going to signal you to go and follow the yellow line down to the starting area where you will be issued a sled, and you can go on the alpine slide. Have a nice day, and every chair all day long. Talk about a shit job that was. I mean... and I was the only one that could do that. And every chair had 2 sleds on the back. They were 25 pounds apiece. So I'd have to get these people off.
Yeah, but it's like,
and this is a lift.
Having to explain that all day.
It was like every 15 seconds.
Oh my God.
And I would walk out to the end of the deck. Nobody else would do that. I'd go out to the end of the deck so they could see me when they were coming. I'd start walking in with them. I'd be like, right here, I mean, because it's you don't know how many I would have.
Idea how
you don't know how many, because where we would detension what they call the haul rope. Yeah. Like a typical chairlift, it goes up, it goes around what they call the bull wheel, and it goes back down, and people get off right at the top where it goes around the bull wheel. So the chair does this one we would just detension it so it would drop down to this landing, but then it just kept going up the mountain. So it was like you had to get off to each side. Yeah. And I'd be the only one on the deck, and then so to stop it, I would have to literally run back 10 feet and hit the stop button. Yeah. And I would have people, oh my God, I'd have people from Portland come up, man, and and the chair would hit, and I'd tell them what to do, and there was a yellow line I'd painted there. They would literally just put their feet down, and that chair would just start going like this because it's still going. Yeah. And then it would knock them over, you know? I mean, because it's not going to stop. Yeah. And then the chair's bouncing everywhere else, and they're yelling, and they're mad at me, and I'm like, oh my God, are you stupid? They'd get there too. Sometimes they'd get there, I'd get them off, and they'd look at me and they'd go, well, where does the chair go from here? Yeah. Because it still just kept going up all the way to the mountain. I say, oh, well, it gets to the top of the mountain, and then you hang a Louis, and you head out to Madras, about 26 miles, and then it'll bring you back. Yeah. You can get tickets for that down at the ticket office. Oh, thank you. And off they'd go. And my buddy Jesse would get so pissed at me because he worked in tickets.
Yeah.
He was hilarious, man. This dude, he only had one arm, and he would dress up like a tripod for Halloween every year, and he won the contest every year. He'd get so pissed at me though. He'd get on the radio and he'd be like Jesse to file, and I'd laugh because I'd know right there what it was. I'd like, hey Jesse, did you run out of tickets to Madras? And he'd be like, you know.
Yeah.
I did it on purpose too. He would get so upset about that.
Yeah.
You know, you have people going, hey, the guy up there said we get a ticket to go out to Madras. It was like 26 miles away.
Yeah.
Like the chairlift makes a left turn. Oh God. I don't know. I love doing that to people.
Yeah.
I'd go up there too. During the wintertime, I was a bartender instead of working the lifts, and so I'd show up on a powder day early in the morning, and you'd have the lift line. These people would just be waiting, lined up. And I'd come rolling in all hungover, and grab my board and strap in and just go right past the lift line and duck the rope and go right up to the lifty, who obviously knows me. I'm the guy pouring him drinks after he gets off work.
Yeah.
Hey man, how's it going, brother? Hey man, hey, we're running stops, but you can get it. And I'd be like, yeah, thank you, man. And I'd get on, and all these people would be like, what? And I'd go up, and then fresh powder just come tearing down, and then just duck the rope. And there was days I did 2 or 3 runs while they were running stops and checking safety and everything. And I ran the lifts. I was a lift supervisor during the summer. I knew all the ins and outs of it, and it was hilarious just to listen to the people, and then they'd come in the bar at like lunchtime or whatever, and they'd see me and they'd be like, oh, that's why it's like, that's why I work here. That's why I work here. I get all the fresh tracks. I used to love that on a big day. I'd go up in the bar and I'd look down and it'd be like, 3 different S curves going right down, and just to do it in front of all those gapers. And those are the people. They get on the lift and they start bouncing it.
Oh my God.
And you're like, hey, dummy, look up at that. The haul rope, it's not hooked onto anything. It just runs over the top. It's like, do you understand that you could bounce this whole thing off and kill everybody on the lift?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen footage of what happens when back roll happens on it. I don't know how we got on this tangent.
It's okay.
But back roll on a ski lift, where the emergency brake fails and it starts rolling backwards.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There was one in Georgia, not Georgia in the United States, but Georgia over by, I guess, I don't know, Ukraine, Russia, over Eastern Europe, I guess I should say. Yeah. Horrible. I'm going to show you that later. It's nuts. That thing starts coming back, and people are just getting flung off. The chairs are, it's like, whoa. Anyway.
Oh my God.
But anyway. And they're going to have a hard time employing people. All the ski areas this year, I think, except for, I guess the major advantage they have is that the people that they employ get a free lift ticket, and that's probably why most of them work there. I remember some of the old guys I worked with there that just, that's all they wanted.
No, but it's just a crazy amount of jobs that are in Cody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like,
they can't
I
find
swear,
it.
I've seen jobs where you can just go and show up, and then they'll give you the job without any questions asked.
There's places that are offering up to $1,000 just to show up for an interview. There's a lot of fast food restaurants. You get a $50, like if you show up for the interview, you get $50. Just you don't have to take the job. Just show up. $50.
It's fucking crazy.
My email, like I said, my email is full.
Yeah.
I turned one down for $1.25 million, but it was in New York City.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
You think I'm going to New York City? You're out your goddamn mind. There is no amount of money that would. Honestly, there's no amount of money that you could give me to go out there.
It's like maybe somewhere in Wyoming, maybe Idaho, maybe Montana. But
right here, I think is about the best place to be right now. I would go for someplace even smaller.
Yeah.
My folks just built a place up in Ten Sleep, and that's even better. To me right now, the furthest away you can get from society is going to be the best. It's going to get bad, and people, you need to start getting ready for this. You need to get your bug out bag ready.
Yeah.
You need to have, there's essential things you need to have. And if you're one of these dudes that you don't know how to change a tire, you don't know how to fucking check your oil, you don't know how to light a fire, you better get it together quick, because it's going to get bad.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what's going to happen in these cities when shit goes all haywire? I mean, when there's major food
because
shortages.
people in cities are just used to the
They're used to the
services that they
amenities.
get,
Yeah. When you can't get gas,
Yeah.
when you can't get anything at the store, I mean, it's going to be the toughest guy on the block,
Yeah.
especially in the worst neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a garden, guess what? Like Bill Burr said, he talked about that. He's like, I could be growing a garden, but I'm just doing it for the toughest guy around. I mean, whoever's running the show, they're going to come take your shit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mob rule type deal. I mean,
Yeah.
people are going to they're going to resort to, I mean, when it comes down to you're hungry and your kids are hungry and you don't have what you need.
You'll do
And
whatever
you don't
it
have
takes.
power. You don't it's going to turn into Lord of the Flies shit.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what's happening here. And it's really sad because, I mean, before this COVID thing, regardless of what anybody thinks about Trump, we were doing well.
Yeah.
The economy was booming. Everything was great. I mean, the minority unemployment rates were at an all-time low.
Yeah.
And I mean, people were doing great. I mean, fuel prices, I think I was paying $2.43 a gallon for diesel.
Yeah.
I mean, I went from paying close to $120 to fill my truck to like $73. I mean, that to a guy like, hey, $50 or whatever. Hey,
Yeah.
$50 is $50. I mean, I didn't go get 3 bags of groceries and spend $50 like I did last. And I got nothing. I got like 2 bottles of juice. I got some sausage, and I got I got some macaroni and cheese, and I mean really and some chips, and it was $50, and it's just like,
Yeah.
there's nothing anymore that's I don't even know how the dollar stores are staying in business.
No, now they are able to charge $1.50 and $2.
Oh, is that what they did?
Yep.
Oh, they raised it up.
Yep.
So now it's not the dollar.
Nope.
What about the one on the West Strip? Did they change the name of it? Because isn't that the Family Dollar?
Yeah.
What do they call it now? The Family $2?
I guess, but it's
Bring back the $2 bill.
Yep. I mean, it's just.
Have you heard?
They have to do what it takes to survive.
I have a $2 bill back in my room. I gave my kid a couple of them.
No, I think I gave it to Andrew. Yeah.
I've heard stories of kids like trying to spend a $2. Like my grandpa, my grandpa used to do that. He'd give us like for Christmas time, we would all get a fresh, crispy $2 bill, just because it was such a and it was cool. I had a bunch of somebody gave me, and I just was doling them out. I kept one. I kept the last one, but I was doling them out to Jackson. I heard about a kid in a city that tried to use one, and they like arrested him for counterfeit. Like they said it was counterfeit money. So this poor kid takes a $2 bill, and then the stupid idiot at the store doesn't even understand that there is a such thing.
Yeah, it's a $2
and they call the
bill.
police and say that he's committing that he's passing counterfeit bills, and the kid's like I can't even imagine as a parent. I don't even know what going to have somebody say that your kid.
It happened to me while I was working at the bank. I was like, wait, do we have $2 bill? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, what do we do with those? They're like, well, we just store them because it's like they're so rare that it's like.
And some people like them.
Yeah. I had a guy come in and he brought in like $200 and he wanted all $2 bills. So it's like, all right. So you just had to go to the back to the vault and they get the $2 bills. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, you didn't see him very often, but like my grandpa, that was at Christmas time. Everybody got $2 bills.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very generous. Otherwise, I mean, he'd give you other money, but he'd always, he'd get an envelope, and it was just like the novelty of the thing.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was cool. That's why I gave the ones I got to Jack.
Yeah.
I kept one for myself though. I got a crispy brand new one.
Nice.
Just because you'll never see it. It's just like a 50-cent piece or a silver dollar.
Yeah.
I mean, and we ought to just eliminate this. I don't know. And the penny. That's that.
Oh my God.
The penny. Really, we should eliminate.
Useless.
We should really eliminate change.
Yeah.
Like everything should just be an even price.
Yeah.
$1, $2.
Yeah.
$3. I mean, it doesn't.
I swear,
everybody uses the
if
card.
If I count how many quarters, and that's the only change I take, it's quarters, because all your change I'm always like, just keep it and give it to someone who can use it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think I have like $12 in quarters just in my car.
Oh, I always do it. I've got this big Crayola. It's a like cardboard crayon.
Yeah.
But it's like this. I mean, that thing is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's over half full of change. There's probably $500 in change in that.
Yeah.
thing. I'll take it in and piss somebody off at a bank someday, or it won't be worth anything. But I mean, we sit there and but everybody pays with the card.
Yeah.
And everybody gets paid by. I mean, who gets? I mean, there's never really a cash transaction that goes on from
It's
like
just electronic money. And
like
that's
if I do a job for somebody and they want to pay cash, then I usually take 10% off the top.
Yeah.
Right away. And because that's real money right there. But you can't really pay anything with cash. Like I can't pay my bills with cash.
No.
I mean, I can't even go pay my gas bill because there's nobody at the fucking gas place.
Yeah.
You go over there with cash in hand to pay your bill.
They're like, just
and,
call
it's,
this
and, the,
phone
and the
number.
thing says no customers inside. And then you got to get online, and then they charge you like an extra $1.50 for a transaction fee to use your debit card. Like, how am I supposed to? I mean, not that the $1.50 is
like,
a big
I
deal,
didn't
but
wanna pay this.
it's like
It's
I showed up to, like I had that at the fucking urgent care a couple of years back. Like I take the kid in, he's got strep throat. I know he's got strep throat.
Yeah.
He opens his mouth. I can see that. I mean, every year.
Yeah.
Right? He gets it. So I go in and the guy does the thing and he's like, "Do you want me to test him?" I'm like, I was like, "You can see he's got strep throat.
Yeah.
I can see he's got strep throat. I'd rather not pay the extra $150 for you to stick a fucking popsicle stick down there, and then come back and tell me he's got strep throat because he's got it. I know he's got it.
Yeah, exactly.
So give me the prescription for the fucking medication and let's just
then I'll
fucking
go get it,
And
and
he,
we'll
and he was
save each
cool.
other.
He was actually cool. He was like, okay. So I get up to the front. We're leaving, and I, give her the name, and she's like, okay. I said, how much is that going to be? She's like, well, I don't know right now. I said, you don't know how much an office visit is here?
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got my prescription. We saw the doctor. I'm like, you don't know how much that's going to cost. I said, I'm offering to pay it right now. I said, and she goes, well, we'll bill you, and if you pay within within 10 days of getting you'll get this percentage off. They never send the bill until 30 days later,
Exactly,
and so then you don't get the discount. And I told her, I said, look, here's the deal. We've been through this every year. I was like, so I'm offering you payment right now. Right now, I'm offering you payment for services. If you decline it, I'm walking out that door and I'm not paying that bill because I'm offering you right now.
Yeah.
Upon service, I'm offering you payment and you're not accepting it. I said, so I'm not going to play this game anymore.
Yeah.
And I declined it. And their legal team tried to come after me. And I told them, listen, I offered payment at the time of services.
They didn't take it.
I said, and they declined it. I said, so I am not paying it. Bye. And you know what the crazy thing is, and I'll probably get in trouble for this one too.
Oh my God.
I went and got the prescription filled for the kid.
Yeah.
Right? And I started doing some research on antibiotics. Well, every year he was getting strep throat. Every fucking year. He hasn't had it since then.
Okay. What?
I gave him placebo. I told him he was getting the antibiotics.
Yeah.
I didn't give them to him. His body
Yeah.
generated that immunity to it, and he has not had it since. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. He's never had strep throat since.
Yeah.
So, tell me that immunity, the general immunity that you get to COVID from having it, is not. Tell me that's not worth something.
No, it's like my older son. I mean, he has been around me when I had COVID.
Yeah.
And he has been around his cousins who have COVID. And
right.
He doesn't get it. It's like, for some dumb reason, it's like.
Yeah. Well, and he could have had it.
Yeah.
He could have had it previously, and the kids are asymptomatic. I'm not going to get into the medical thing because I've already been. We've been shut down already.
Yeah.
Because of apparently the opinions that I've put out there that actually reflect the World Health. They say if you put anything out there that's contradictory to the World Health Organization, that you're disseminating harmful information. But when I talk about a certain medication that is listed as an essential medication by the World Health Organization, and everybody else is describing as something else that it's not. We've spoken about this. I'm not even going to say the name.
No. It's okay.
But I looked it up earlier, and I actually have a screenshot of it. It is on the World Health Organization's essential medicine list.
Yeah.
Now, why in the world would you not be able to talk about that?
I have.
And then they say that you're contradictory to the World Health Organization. And it's like, well, if that's an essential medication, And if I got this as a prescription from a medical doctor and I used it and it worked and I got better from COVID the second time I got it in one day and got my sense of taste and smell back, but I can't talk about that because I'll get taken down.
Yeah.
Why would I do that? I don't want to tell anybody anything that would be helpful. No. For fuck's sake. Why would I want to help you fuckers out?
Yeah. It's like...
I mean, I would like to, but I can't.
Yeah.
Sorry. Help yourselves. Do your homework.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just some bullshit, man. I wish I had that video up from from that gal in Louisiana. But shout out to that girl. I can't remember what her name was, but that's some gangster shit you pulled there, girl. That was some gangster shit, and I got much respect for you.
Yeah.
I fucking quit hanging up the phone.
Yeah.
That's how you quit a job.
Yeah.
That is how you quit a job. I mean, really.
It's like you just give respect to everyone who deserves it, and everyone else is like, F you.
I mean, if you get to that point, I mean, and that was cool watching her too, because you could see she was nervous. She was like, okay. She's like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been working that job, and that's 5 the thing
years,
too.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, is working that job like that for that. I mean, as time goes by, that becomes your norm.
Yeah.
It becomes your, that's like, that's your routine.
Yeah.
And so that's real hard to break that shit. I mean, that's why people are so willing to stay in bad relationships for so long, because it's routine, it's convenient, it's, it's like you trade off the things that you can't handle with that other individual for the convenience of it. Like, it's well, I'll let this person scream and yell and do this, or stay out and get drunk all night and then come home and be like fucking terrible to everybody, or do this or whatever, or not have a job and just be an ass. Or you trade it off for the convenience. And you're like, oh well, this person will watch the kid, or they cook me dinner, or and you make these concessions in life. In relationships, same. It's just like with a job. It's like, well,
no, it's like
if I didn't have this job, then I couldn't get my Doritos and no corn dogs, no corn dogs this week. So I guess I'll just keep my shitty cheese job. And I mean, people settle, man. People settle. They settle for much less than.
No, but it's just funny because I keep telling Alicia, it's like just 8 more months, and then it's like your turn, and then it's like
it's Ricardo time.
Yeah. Then you and I will go to Mexico, and then
I'm looking forward to Mexico.
Yeah.
Where's my passport? Fuckers, I paid for it already. I wonder. They said it was going to take a while.
Yeah.
I didn't expedite it because I knew I wasn't going anywhere soon. But I wanted to have one. I mainly wanted to have one just in case I needed to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Can't go north up there to French fries and gravy land, but I'm sure go down that way.
Yeah. No, but it's just funny because my wife is like, "Why are you so excited to get out of here?" I'm like, "You have no idea." It's like,
and those pictures you showed me, man, of Mexico. I mean, I am Mexico City, dude. Like I said, that's a place I mean, out of any place, anywhere, I think in the world that I would want to go, I think it would be Mexico City because I just want to see it.
No, but it's
like, so fucking big, and there's so much beautiful artwork and just culture and just I mean, obviously I've not been there, but I've studied it and researched it and done. Like, I mean,
it's like, the best place to eat in Mexico City. It's not like the most expensive restaurant. It's like,
you want to go
if you go eat tacos al pastor, which is like,
God, I love el pastor.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I'll eat lingua and cabeza and
yeah.
I'm like,
and it's like, where did you get that? It's like at every fucking corner. It's like,
No, I definitely would not want to go to India. I mean, that's what I like about the idea of Mexico City. Is like, I'm sure you've got the trendy places where people go, but I like to. I mean, with anything that I do, I like to see the deep underbelly of it, right? I like to see the underside of everything. I like to see like, the gritty part of anything, whatever it is, be it music or a city or whatever. I mean, I like to go to those places, and because that's where the culture is at.
Yeah.
That's where you broaden your horizons.
Exactly.
and you learn things about different people, and you have great experiences too, because when you're just sitting there and you know, acting like you're part of the fucking goddamn Brady Bunch. You know what I mean? It's like what the fuck is that?
I was talking to my wife and I was like, I'm looking forward to taking Mike to like all the beach resorts, but it's like not the main resorts. It's like
take me to the
exactly.
take me to the places that are I don't want to go to any. I hate that, man. I don't like. I mean.
It's like, so my wife is like, so are you planning on taking him to Cancun? I'm like, no, to Cancun.
No,
it's like,
I don't want to go to Cancun.
Yeah, it's like to the other towns near Cancun, the smaller towns.
Right.
And she's like,
Yeah.
why would you want to go there? And it's like, because that's where he'll actually get to experience Mexico.
Well,
It's
and
like,
that's you know, and I mean that exactly, and that's I mean, you know, and I mean besides Mexico City, I've always wanted to go to Chiapas as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, Chiapas is, I mean, that's one of the
oh my God,
poorest,
it's just
that's the
beautiful.
poorest state though,
Yeah.
but it is beautiful, and the people are. I mean, the people are beautiful,
Warm.
and they've got nothing, but they're happy, and that's what I've always liked about it. Because I mean, when I started studying Chiapas, and I wrote a big paper about Chiapas, and what I noticed with the people there was like they were very poor, they had nothing, but they were happy, they were happy, they love you. I mean, and that's when you, I mean.
And
when you see people like that have nothing and they're happy, and then you see people here in this country that have all this money and fucking cars and big ass fucking man, and they're
so
miserable.
Unhappy. Yeah, it's like
they hate each other. They fucking don't trust anybody because they feel like anybody who wants to become friends with them is only friends because of their fucking money. So they don't trust anybody. They don't have any love for anybody. They don't love each other. Their families hate each other. They yell at each other. They turn into alcoholics and just. I mean, they are not happy people, and from the outside looking in, you go, God, if I had what they had,
it's like,
but then you see it and you go, I don't
I'm
want that
good.
shit. I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
It's like they can fucking have it. I would much rather be living in the fucking dirt and have a smile on my face than living in that shit and just I hate my wife. You know, they're cheating on each other. They're living lives. I mean, you know, they're going to the parties like that. What was that movie with Tom Cruise? The fucking masked up.
It's
whatever.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, they're living lives like that. You know, just miserable. And people that, you know, like me, you know, have, you know, I mean,
it's like
I'm prosperous. I mean, I'm happy. I don't have a lot, but I'm happy with what I'm very happy with what I have. You know, and I mean, I've got a lot more than a lot of people.
You know what? I know exactly what I have, and it's because I've earned it.
Exactly, and that's the other thing too. And when you're talking about people that haven't had to earn, like I talked to a girl a couple years ago, and she'd fucked her car up, and she drove it, and I saw it, and I said, "What did you?" It's just, I don't know. I didn't even notice. I said, "Your fucking car's all fucked up." And you know, and I sat down and talked. I said, "What the fuck?" I said, "That's that's like a fucking $65,000 car." So, I don't care. I'm like, and I started off getting really upset. I was like, "You don't respect that shit?" I was like, "You didn't pay for it." She's like, "You know what? It doesn't matter." She's like, "I've grown up this way." She goes, "I'll wreck that one and I'll get a new one. It doesn't matter." She's like, "My family doesn't care about me." She's like, "They'll just buy me a new one and whatever." And at that point, I felt sorry for her. I felt sorry. I mean, because like at first I was like, why wouldn't you respect? But then I thought, here's a person who's grown up their whole entire life, and they've not had a relationship with their family. They've been bought off. So they've been allowed to behave however they want to. And then when they ruin shit and break shit that everybody else would love to have, right? It just gets replaced. And so instead of addressing the problem of why did you ruin and break and wreck shit, it's just like, here you go. And that's kind of, and I felt bad after that. After that conversation, I really did. I felt bad. I felt like, oh my God, here's a young lady that, you know, and I mean, she's, you know, a friend. And I mean, I've just always like, kind of, you know, it's just another person I've looked out for, you know, and I sat there and at first I was like, what the that's you know, but then I thought about it a little bit. I was like, that must be screwed up to grow up in like where like these things that are so opulent that nobody else in society can have them. You know, that would mean so much to somebody else who's never had shit like that. But like you've had that, but you haven't had the love and the interaction with your family to know that like you're cared about on a different level, like that, like you as a person are loved, and like, I mean, to me, that means more than those things. I mean, to me, it seems like, you know, I mean, like, you know, my son's grandfather just bought him an old truck, needs a new motor, and they're gonna fix it up together. That means something.
Yeah.
That means something, you know. I mean, taking something
and
that
the
old
fact
and
Jackson is actually gonna fix it.
Well, yeah, and learn
like,
learn how to do that. And I mean, that's the thing. You learn how a motor runs. You learn how. I mean, those are the things that I'm talking about that people need to like to learn. And it's so funny that like people that do those type of jobs, like a mechanic or a carpenter or you know, a guy like me that I have my hands in all sorts of different things. And I mean, I've always said I can drink with bikers or bankers. It doesn't matter. But I mean, the things that you can do with your hands and you can actually have a connection to, that means more than anything in life, I think. I mean, it's important because you're looking at your used like my trucks. I drive them. I mean, even like the one that's broken down right now. But I tell you what, when I get it back on the road, man, I'm going to be very. I mean, I'm never going to get rid of that truck. It's like I'm going to fix it. I got that old '85. I mean, my buddy I bought it from, great mechanic. I mean, and he kept it, you know, he kept that truck running. It's got like 550,000 miles on it. Yeah. It still starts up and runs just fine. And you appreciate that. And when it breaks down, I fix it. Yeah. I don't take it somewhere. And I mean, I fix every fucking thing. Yeah. I've learned to be an electrician. I've learned to be a plumber. I've learned to, I mean, you know, it's like, those are the things. And then you appreciate it. Yeah. It's not like you paid somebody to do something for you and you just, oh, well, I have this money and I mean, yeah, okay, I bought all this, but guess how I bought all this shit? From effort. The products of my labor, from building things and making things unique that are for certain, like, I mean, like this table. This was, there's not a single one like this any fucking where. Yeah. It was built for a certain individual that paid for it. Yep. They never made arrangement for pickup or delivery. Yeah. Went on for over a year and fucking it's mine now. Yeah. But there's not another one like this. No. There's not. There's no way you could recreate this. You could never recreate this. You could never recreate that one over there. You could never recreate that one or anything. You know, I mean, most of the frames that I've built, I mean, you could get close. But, I mean, like, look at the frame like on that picture there. You can't redo that. No. There's no way that you'll ever have a match. It's not from a box store. Yeah. It's and so by being able to do things like that, and I'm not propping myself up at all. I'm just a dumbass, but I mean, I like to do shit like that. And I think that I was talking to Jackson about universal basic income and, you know, automation. I mean, if you can do things like that, you're going to have a lot more value than being out there. Yeah. I can't. You see me type. I know I can tell. You watch me type and you're over there going, hello. You probably get on this thing and
no, I don't know how to type.
Did you forget?
No, I forgot, but it's like I never picked it up again, so it's like whatever.
I often wonder about that with, you know, since you went through what you went through, like, you know, what came back, what didn't.
Typing didn't come back, so it's like, so now I type like I have to look at the keyboard and it's like.
How did you relearn Spanish? Or did it just kind of come back to you?
Just talking to my parents, and they were forcing me, and then I was like, "Oh, wait, I know what that word means."
So you started like conjugating verbs and things like that. And so okay. So I was talking to somebody the other night, and they said something. I said, "Oh, it's muy interesante." They're like, "What?" It's very interesting. What'd you say? I was like, "Es muy interesante." I remember college. Oh God.
Oh my God.
Oh God. And it was always the white girls, you know, and como te llamas, you know.
It's like always like that. It's like, you know what? Just speaking English.
Me llamo. Me, whatever you know. I mean, you just sit there and go. That's why I quit going to that class, you know. And that's professor's like, Miguel, you haven't been in class, you know. I'm like. Why?
Exactly.
I was like, let me just take the final, you know. And he, you know, and I would talk to him, and I knew like, you know, street Spanish because I hung out with fucking street dudes. He's you know, he'd ask me like, you know, where you learn this and this, and so I was like,
you don't want to know.
It was like the north side of town, man, you know, which was weird because it's usually the south side of town, but there it was the north side. And like I just get that dude. He was a cool teacher, but man, he pissed me off because he said, "Okay, you can come take the final, and whatever grade you get, I'll give you." And I went in there and aced it, and he gives me a fucking F for attendance. After he told me that he was going to give me whatever grade I get on the final, I was so mad.
Yeah.
And then I had him for a history of Mexico class, and which was, I mean, that was the class that really actually sparked my my fascination with that country, because it was like he really got into you know, I mean, we were talking about Porfirio Diaz, and we were talking about, you know, I mean we even got into where the term you know, Hijo de la Chicana came from, you know. I mean, and got into why that was a term that came up. I mean, you know, I mean, and it was like, damn, this is such a rich fucking culture, and there's
like you're saying motherfucker. It's like
yeah. I mean, and I love that class.
Yeah.
And I mean, he gives me an A+ in there, and I take that fucking final in that Spanish class. And I'm like, and it was funny because I left there, and then I'm in Seattle, and I mean, because I can speak Spanish, and I can understand it more than I can speak, especially now because I haven't used it in so long. But I can still understand. I mean, I can listen to a conversation in Spanish and pick it right up. But you know, I mean, I go out and I'm in Seattle, and I mean, the guys that I'm working with are all Hispanic. A lot of these cats are just I mean, they're migrant laborers. They just got here, and because I could communicate with them, the boss was like, okay, you're working with, you know, you're working with, you know, you're working with Julio and Jorge and Pedro, and I mean, it was great though. I love those guys, and they would take me to these fucking taco vans and shit for lunch. And, oh god, places. I mean, you know, we'd pull up, and I mean, you know, I'm like, and then it always, and it was always funny because we go to these taco vans, and I always just surprised the shit out of like whoever was working the window at the place. I'd go up and, you know, order in Spanish, and they'd look at me like, what the hell? You know? And, you know, and I mean,
you know, I actually want to see that when we go to Mexico. Just bring you someplace that, just like, all right, Mike, go order food.
Yeah, I will. I don't care. I need to brush up on it.
Yeah,
it's like anything when you're not you know, like, I mean, being in a city and stuff. It's when you're around it, when you're, you know,
it's like
when you're not living here. Obviously, I mean. I should start having you. We should start speaking in Spanish.
It's just funny because it's like when I go to a liquor store, there's sometimes come Latin guys there, and they're like just speaking Spanish between themselves, and I'm like, "Hey, look at my name tag." It's like I totally get what you're saying. It's like
well, that's funny too. I mean, like I said a few years back, I was in a poker game with two of these guys that work for my buddy, and they were giving they were telling each other their hands. Yeah, and I didn't say nothing. Yeah. Just let him do it. Yeah. Well, then go ahead. I'll take all your money. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there was only 4 of us. It was $100, but I made $300. Yeah. I mean, and they walked off mad, and I was just laughing my ass off. And I was laughing at my buddy too. I was like, dude, you don't even understand. It's like, these are your employees. You don't even know what they're saying, man. I'm like, you know? I mean, it's and that's the crazy thing. Is like most people in the world are bilingual. Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, and I mean, I don't know. We should. It's weird that in this country, you know, our kids in the education system, they don't start taking a foreign language until like 9th grade. Yeah. Well, if they learn it at 4 or 5 years old,
way too late.
It's so much easier. They can pick it up, and then once you learn a second language, I mean, like you learn Spanish, Italian comes easy. Oh yeah. French comes easy. You learn German, you know what I mean? Russian is one of the most difficult languages. Mandarin is, I mean, I don't even know how it would go. I mean.
But that's what happened to me. It's like, my parents put me in a bilingual school, so since I started learning, I learned half the classes in English, half of them in Spanish. So. Right. And then after the winter semester, it was straight off time, so.
Right, and then once you learn, though, especially at a young age, you know, I mean, your mind is malleable, and I mean, you can, you start to see the correlations. Yeah. You know, I mean, and most of, you know, I mean, talking like English is English might be one of the most difficult languages as well, because we have so many goofy. Oh yeah. I mean, phonetic things going on that are just, I mean. Oh my God. You've got new KNEW, and then you got new NEW. You know, I mean, it's like what you got canoe and new. It's like
it was hilarious when I went to Miami, and I was like, wait, that's like weird English, because it was like the southern U.S. English. I was like,
so there was kind of like probably a Creole type, like like a hybrid.
Yeah, that the black people spoke, and I was like, hold on, you just gotta talk to me very slowly. 'Cause it was like, otherwise I'm completely lost. It's like, fuck.
Well, it's like my boy that I met in prison. He was from Louisiana, and what's up, Tweet? I hope you're all right, man. But he came up rolling up to me, you know, things he'd say to me. I mean, I remember I first met him, and he tried to, I looked at him, I said, hold up. Are you fucking speaking English, dude?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I said, I understand it. Like, I said, I understood like 3. But, you know, I mean, by the time, I mean, I can pick up the phone with that dude, and I mean, nobody can understand him, but I know exactly what he's saying. Because, hey, get the guy, Sasu? Says, what? The hair stuff? What are you talking?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, orange. What's an orange?
Yeah.
Orange, man. He's like, orange, motherfucker.
No, and then the first roommate I had was from Tennessee, so it's
Oh,
like,
God, yeah. Then you got that.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. I mean, I think it's hilarious when you hear the people, you know, they say, well, learn how to speak English, you know, and it's like, you go around this country, and there's a different form of English and conglomerations of different dialects everywhere in this country, any region.
You know what? Let me say that I'm so glad I went to Miami, because like 60% of the people there spoke Spanish. So it's like, even if you don't get what they're saying in English, you're like, hey, speak to me in Spanish, and they're all like, okay.
But then you have Cuban Spanish too.
Oh yeah.
Then that's a whole different thing.
Oh my God.
And then you got Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And then you got
the lisp involved in the Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, that's Barcelona.
No, but that's what made me laugh, because it's like, all right, so we're all the Spanish speakers, and no one could understand what each other one was saying. So it's like, let's just switch to English now, because it's like,
that's funny. Well, there's places in Louisiana that speak Creole that nobody can understand. I mean, and I mean, like, you go to Hawaii, there's different. I guess what pidgin, I guess is what they call it. Pidgin. I mean, you know, when you have a hybrid language. I mean, and it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
And I know I still have a little bit of that Wyoming, kind of that, you know.
Wyoming doesn't have an accent.
But I certainly did. When I went to college, I certainly did. From growing up here, I mean, people thought I was from Texas because I had that kind of that twang, you know. And I worked pretty hard to get rid of it. I still hear it come out in my voice, though. And especially since moving back here.
Yeah.
When I lived in Seattle, Portland, those areas, I didn't. Yeah. But you come back here, and it's like you. Yeah. It's like you're a product of your environment. Yeah. And so, I mean, I've noticed it myself.
Even if I don't want to get it, it's like I still get it, because it's like I'm just immersed in.
Right, and I've done some voiceover stuff, you know, voice actor things with a script, and I really have to work on using my voice correctly, and you know, the way I speak day to day, I notice that I do have that. It's you know, it's you know, it's like the NGs, like, you know, instead of I'm going somewhere, it's like, I'm going over here, you know, things like that. Yeah, but I think a lot of people do. But I've noticed it and listened to podcasts. And I'm like, I've kind of reverted.
Yeah, it's like.
But I mean, there were people when my freshman year at college that had a hard time understanding me. And I had a lot of people calling me. They'd call me Tex.
What?
Like, I'm not. But that was. I was like.
No, but it's like.
But I had that country accent. You know that. I had a dang old. I didn't sound like Boomhauer. Oh, get down, dang old Walmart. You know.
I have no idea how they didn't understand you, because I understand you 100% perfectly fine. So well,
like, this was a long time ago.
Yeah, but still, it's like they have no idea what talking to a real Texan is like, or like talking to a Southerner is like, because it's like
Texas just. I mean, no offense to anybody, but I always find it funny talking to a Texan, because they never stop mentioning that they're from Texas.
Oh yeah, no, my God.
I mean, everything they bring up, it's Texas. It's like you can't even have a conversation without Texas being brought up.
It's like I had these two tourists from Texas, they were from like San Antonio, come over to a liquor store here, and they're like, "Do you sell anything that is from Wyoming? Because we live in Texas." And I'm like, "Well, good for you, I guess."
But did you say, "Remember the Alamo, bitches"?
I was like, yeah, we sell this Wyoming beer, and then we sell.
We have Davy Crockett's fucking whiskey. We got some Sam Bowie Jim. We got
And then I was like, yeah, we sell Wyoming whiskey. It's in the title of the whiskey. It says Wyoming whiskey.
It's the most god-awful whiskey on the planet.
But they're like, well, I swear they spent an hour in the liquor store just looking around, and they're like, just to buy
just a
beer. Yeah, it's like
something from
what?
Wyoming. Yeah,
it's just mind-blowing stupid. It's like,
oh, it is. People are fucking stupid, man. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry. People are dumb.
Yeah.
And we are dumb because look at where we're at right now. And
Yeah.
that comes back to the original point of this thing is that we are dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got worker shortages. We've got food shortages on
Yes.
the way. We've all become wage slaves.
Yeah.
And we're headed for,
Yeah.
we're cruising for a bruising here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, we're going to have, I mean, what are you going to do when you can't fill your vehicle up? What are you going to do?
It's going to be so
Ride your
expensive.
bike?
No.
Especially out here in the wintertime.
Yeah, no.
What are you going to do when you have to make a choice between going hungry or freezing to death? Like
Yeah.
that guy was talking about earlier. What are you
Yeah.
going to do? The energy companies aren't going to cut you any slack
No.
because they're all about that MONEY.
Yeah.
But where does your electricity come from? And I'm going to ask you that. Everybody that's all about this Green New Deal, I am all for.
Yeah.
I'm all for alternative sources of energy. I am.
But
you,
it's not
you
gonna
have
happen
got to
overnight.
right.
Yeah.
You have got to integrate into that.
Yeah.
You can't just all of a sudden
No.
just do a fucking mushhead move and just cut
Yeah.
down a pipeline and
No.
cancel all these jobs out and then
It's
just
not gonna
and then now he's asking the Middle East, he's asking OPEC to produce more oil. When hey, I tell you what, Trump might have been a lot of things, but when he got out of office, we were energy independent in this country.
Yeah.
We were. Now we're not. He and OPEC, they're looking at him and they're laughing because they realize what a weak ass he is.
Yeah.
And China, they're flying fucking planes over Taiwan because we were supposed to be the people keeping Taiwan safe.
Yeah.
And guess what? They now saw what shithead pulled over there in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And they're flying. The people in Taiwan are terrified. So we're going to have another crisis on our hands where we're going to have
Yeah.
people fleeing from Taiwan and coming onto our West Coast any
Yeah.
way they can. That's coming next. I'm telling you, listen to me. It's coming next.
Yeah.
Because we were the United States military force and the threat to China of like you're not going to fuck with Taiwan, right? That's what kept them. They don't care now.
No.
They've seen it. China has mocked us
Yeah.
in all sorts of different media. I mean, that would never have happened under Trump.
No.
And I mean, in with the withdrawal from Afghanistan, yeah, Trump had that orchestrated. He was going to be out of there May 1st, but he sat there with the Taliban and said, listen, our people are coming out. You mess with anybody, our allies over there or our people,
Yeah.
and I will rain hell down on you. I mean, there was a phone conversation, it was recorded. That's what I mean. They knew that.
Yeah.
This mushhead, he's out there. He can't even formulate a sentence. He doesn't even speak words. He falls upstairs. I mean, he doesn't know the Declaration of Independence, and he's been in fucking politics for 48 fucking
yeah.
years. You know the thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, because of the thing.
It's
Challenging people to push-up contests when they disagree with him. I mean, just horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. He doesn't. I mean, the thing is, though, my point is, it doesn't really fucking matter. It's like the American people, and that's everybody out there. We all need to decide that it's time to stand up and walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away. What are they gonna do if we just say, you know what?
Screw
This
you.
shit ain't working.
Yeah.
We're not paying any more of these fucking taxes. We're not fucking playing these games with you anymore. We want our fucking kids back.
Yeah.
And we're going to go back to doing what we do. There's no reason why it should be absolutely necessary for you to work a 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
If you provide something to your community, if I can make a table a week,
Yeah.
whatever time it takes, and you know what? That's a labor of love.
Yeah.
I love doing that stuff. And it makes me happy. And I love building something for somebody and giving it to them and watching the smile on their face when they see it. And I tell people when they want me to build something for them, I tell them, I don't want to know what you want.
Yeah.
I just want to look at like your decorations, your house. I want to talk to you and you get a feel for somebody. And I figure out, okay, this is
Yeah.
like the person I built this for. They've got one of them that's similar to it, but they didn't never get this. And I did this because this is what I thought that, and they loved the first one, but then everything went south and they, whatever. It's neither here nor there, but when you can do something like that, then that's work worth pursuing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
When you're punching a clock and you're doing a meaningless bullshit
no.
job and you go through that day after day after day,
Yeah.
what does that do to you?
It just feels like it's a chore instead of like,
you go home, you know, the first thing sets you off, you get mad.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you see so many people just guzzling booze and drug addiction. And I mean, you know, it's like people are doing things that are not actually rewarding to them. And they're not, and by doing that, it's not rewarding to anybody else.
Yeah.
And like a store like Walmart, it's not been rewarding to this town.
Yeah.
Like this town used to have shops all up and down Main Street that were specialized in different things, right? Like I've never been to Europe, but my buddy Dorian, shout out Dorian, he's on the Paralympic Olympics.
Nice.
He does the it's not the luge, but it's the one that's head first, the skeleton.
Yeah.
So he's been able to go over there and compete, you know, and he's talked to me about some of the places he's been. He's like, you know, he goes, you want to make a sandwich? He's like, you don't go to like you go to the baker and you get a loaf of bread and it's not cut, and then you go to the butcher shop, and then you go to the guy that's got the, you know, like you go to all these different little shops and
you buy a little bit.
Yeah, you buy and but that, you know, you develop a relationship with people like that, and now it's just like you go downtown and they're the shops that were there.
It's like go to Walmart or go to Albertsons.
Yeah, I mean, I remember growing up in this town as a kid. They had the thing called Crazy Days where they'd have these sales, and you go down and all the merchants would put their things out. But you'd have a shoe store, you'd have a, you know, like a women's clothing store, you'd have a men's clothing store, you'd have all these different. You'd have a baseball card shop, you'd have like a place that sold goofy shit for kids, you'd have a bookstore. I mean, every place was a different niche, you know. And
like bookstore is like I just ordered it on Amazon because it's like
nobody even reads. People don't even read.
But you know what? We're teaching my son to read.
That's good, and you should, because and that's the thing, is that's going to be a necessary skill. And to be able to, I have battled with my son about writing. I mean, and the school has not taught him to write because they don't have to do it.
Yeah.
But the thing is once these things, I mean, and it's going to happen. All this shit's going to, you know. I mean, who knows? I mean, look what happened with Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp the other day.
And
it all went down.
6 hours, and then it's like fucking chaos. And I was like,
and my internet,
you know,
my internet went down last night.
But that day I was like, oh, Facebook is on. I was like, whatever.
Well, my internet went down.
Yeah.
And it showed on the app and on my computer. It said you were in an area with an outage.
Yeah.
So I kept waking up through the night and checking it. Well, it was about 3:30 in the morning. I'm not in an area with an outage. And so then I go through the whole automated thing. And it'd say, well, you know, says the bot or whatever says, we're going to reboot it.
Yeah.
And they say, well, can you manually, are you ready to manually do it? So I get up and I go out to my router and my modem, and we try to manually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the bot, right? Through my stupid phone. That doesn't work. So I get pissed and I sound off on Facebook about it.
Yeah.
I turn around and all of a sudden the lights on the fucking thing turn on and it starts working. I'm like, what?
What the fuck? Yeah.
And then I get on and on YouTube, I've you know, one of my appeals I made for one of our episodes that they were trying to delete, they said, no, your appeal is declined. And I'm trying to ask them, like, what did I say?
Yeah.
I don't even know what I said. That, I mean, it's you know, they're saying you can't say anything that contradicts science or the WHO, but the people that have contradicted science and themselves more than anything is those people.
Yeah.
The cookie gnome. I mean, he's made up more shit. I mean, you heard his shit about Christmas. I should, whatever.
No, let's just quit.
Anyway, we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
I guess we went far enough with it.
No,
but it was good, man.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
It's great.
Always.
Oh my god.
Yeah. What should we play to go out on this thing? I'm looking at the buttons, thinking, what's what? I don't even know. I guess we'll just randomly pick one.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, hey, from Cody, Wyoming.
Yep.
Mike File, Ricardo Torres.
Navigator.
The Navigator. Yeah, the Navigator, man. I couldn't do it without him.
Yeah.
And hopefully next time we'll maybe have this little beast going over here.
It'll be awesome.
You can hear me I don't know, do whatever it is that thing does. I'm going to find out tonight, though. Anyway, everybody stay up, take care of each other, be kind, and look out for one another, because we're fixing to we're looking at some things coming down the pike that aren't good, and more so than anything, shake the hand of your neighbor and get to know him. Don't sit there and harbor some kind of preconceived notion of who somebody is just because of the fact that they're not just like you. Yeah. Because we're all the same. We're all human.
Exactly.
And I mean, at the end of the day, we got to stand up and we got to stick together, because we have a small group of people in this country and the world that are running us all. And, it's just going to take a little bit of bravery and a little bit of unity. Yeah. Mainly, look out for one another. Like, stand up for each other. I mean, don't just think about you and what you got going today. Think about what, anybody you run into. And I challenge people, okay, do that tomorrow. All right. In your interactions, reach out to somebody that you deal with that is working in a place of service. And don't just go through the motions of, how are you today? I'm fine. How are you? Don't do that. No. Say like when you and I spoke, right? I said, you got a story to tell, right? I mean, and I like talking to people like that because everybody has a story to tell. We all have a story to tell, and we all go through things that nobody else can even understand. But yet we treat each other like we're marginal and we're meaningless, and we're not. Everybody's got a story. Everybody means something. And so with that message, I think that's where I want to go out with it. And until the next time, hopefully it'll be sooner than later. All right? All right, take care. We're transitioning out.
I've been up all night trying to figure this out. I drank a half a bottle of whiskey, sat down on my couch. Couldn't believe what they were talking about when someone said they found you dead at your house. And how could this be true? I still needed you. I can't believe that I'll never see you. It must have been so bad I can't begin to even try to explain what you've been through. There's no way out, only a way through. You should have stayed here, I could have saved you. Well, I've been up all night trying to figure this out. I wrote a million different words to let you know how I felt. Nothing really sounds special enough, and they don't have the words to tell how it was when you should have stayed here. I could have saved you. There's no mistake that we couldn't work through. Nobody hates you, they want you safe, dude. You left me all on my own, I can't replace you. There's no way out, only a way through. You should have stayed here, I could have saved you. I've been up all night trying to figure this out. I wrote a million different words to let you know how I felt. You should have stayed here, I could have saved you. I'm sorry, brother. I wish I could have done more. I miss you. I will always love you. You will always hold a space in my heart.